Hey guys, how's it going and welcome to another video. And today's video I thought I would give my freestanding punch bag a little bit of a review and give you guys some pros and cons of the freestanding punch bag, and you can therefore make up your mind whether or not you're going to buy one for yourself and have it as an addition to your home gym and your home workout routine or not. I've had this for a couple of months now. I have already done a unboxing and slight review of it, and I will stick the link to that video in the description below, so go and check it out. But I've had it for a few months now, so I've had a good go at it, and I want to talk about it in detail, talk about the pros, the cons, and obviously whether I would recommend it. If you enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, links in the bio. Right guys, let's get on with the video. Okay guys, so the first thing I want to review is how I put it together and whether or not it is user-friendly in that regard. So it comes, when it gets delivered, it comes in two parts. Now this is the Gallant range. I bought this off Amazon. I think it cost me about £80, but there are other similar versions of this that are slightly different in structure, but they're the same principle. It arrived within a few days, so it was great when it comes to the delivery. It came in two parts. You have the upper part, which is the pad, and the lower part, which is the base, and then you get a tool and a variety of bolts to put it together. The process of setting it up was super easy. You line the pad up with the holes in the base, and then you basically just screw in the bolts, and it's as simple as that. Because this is freestanding, you do need to fill the base up with something. I, for the time being, have filled it up with water, but you can also fill it up with sand too. That really depends on where you live. You know, if you're going to keep this in a garage, it might be easier to fill it up with a hose pipe. If you're going to keep it in a spare room like I have, I filled it up in my shower and then I pulled it through, but it really isn't that difficult. And obviously if you use sand, it might take you a little bit longer because the hole is only quite small. And then it does have some sucker pads on the bottom of the base. So, I mean, for me, I've got it on carpet, and the suckers obviously just give it a little bit more dispersion on the bottom. But if you've got a hard floor, the sucker pads will stick to the floor, and it will be really easy. But again, they just screw into the bottom, so it is really easy to set up. So what about the quality? Now, I was really impressed when it turned up. I wasn't sure whether or not when I first put the order in, whether or not it was going to be of good quality, but I can confirm that this specific make, the Gallant range, it is good quality. It's sewn and stitched at the top, and it's obviously stitched in nicely at the bottom. It feels really nice and compact. I don't know what's inside it. I'm assuming it's some kind of foam, but it does feel really compact. The leather on the outside, or at least I assume it's leather, the leather on the outside is good. Like I say, I've put some fairly heavy work in it recently, and there's no cracking. The top bit, so obviously I assume that it's wrapped up nicely. There is a seam on one side that goes all the way down, which again, even after some heavy use, has held up well. The top bit, I'm assuming, has just been sort of stitched on. Again, there are some signs that it's starting to lift, but I think that's just the nature of when you're hitting it hard. Even good quality bags will start to show wear and tear at the seam, but it's really neat, it's really stitched well together. When I first got it, one of the things I said in my unboxing video was I was a bit unsure as to whether this cool pattern would fade over time. As I say, I've used it for a few months now, and I've not noticed any obvious fading. There may well have been some fading. I mean, I know that some of the pattern here is not complete, but I'm pretty sure that it was like that when I first bought it. What I do know is that, bearing in mind this is a white pad and it's black and red, it hasn't smeared, if that makes sense. So when I look at it, the pattern still looks whole, even if certain bits of it look a bit patchier than they were before. The black hasn't sort of smeared and merged into the rest of it. So yeah, really good quality print too. In regards to how tall it is, I am 5'8", 5'9", so it is shorter than I am. I think it's meant to stand at about 5'5", 5'6". However, when I'm punching, I don't really notice the difference. Now, obviously, if you're considerably taller than me and you're 6+ foot, then you may be a bit frustrated with how tall it is. Because again, if you look at me and you look at how tall it is, all right, there is a difference. So if you are taller, then I may well suggest you don't look at this specific range, but perhaps have a look to see if there's an alternative that is taller and is more suitable for your height. Now again, talking about size of this thing, if you're thinking about storage, the base, as I said earlier on, it's not huge, and the height is not that big either. Like I said, it's about 5'5", I would say. In terms of moving it, I have a small setup here where I've got my treadmill, and I have done a review on the treadmill as well, so go and check that out. And I've got a few bits of gym equipment, like bands and stuff like that. So this actually fits really nicely if you've got a smaller space to put it and to work out with. When you're actually using it, it doesn't move that much. Like I say, if you've got a hard floor, the suckers at the bottom will stick to that hard floor nicely. And especially if you've got water in it or sand, the suction and the weight will really cement it to your floor. I have carpet, but I have found that it moves slightly, but it probably moves a maximum of a foot. And I am kicking it as well as punching it, I'm kneeing it, I'm elbowing it. So I am putting it through its paces when I'm training with it, but it doesn't move that much, it stands its ground. So yeah, it is quite grounded in that sense. So I've mostly addressed a lot of pros. It's fairly good quality, it's size-wise, it's pretty small, so it fits in small spaces nice and easily. It doesn't move that much when you're using it. But what about the cons? Well, the biggest con that I would say is to do with that little red cap. Now, I filled this up with water because at the time I didn't have access to sand, and it's not particularly well sealed. What I mean by that is the hole that is underneath this red cap, whenever you put it through any rigorous testing and I'm punching it, and you don't even need to be a very good boxer or kickboxer to put it under any pressure, it leaks and it dribbles down with water. So I have a towel here. What I tend to do with the towel is I stick it at the base like so that whenever I hit it and water dribbles down, it's caught by the towel. Obviously, having carpets, I don't want to keep on having water spill all over my carpets. That's not great. And if you've got wooden floors, then that can lead to slip risk. Like I say, if you have sand, this will not be a problem. But I think for a lot of people, you'll stick water in the base. So that is something to consider. It does leak. It does leak, but it only leaks from the hole. The actual base itself is very sort of watertight. It's just the filling cap that does dribble. The rest of it is pretty secure. So finally, having gone through everything I've gone through, how hard can you actually hit it? Well, again, this really depends on your own power, your strength. For me, I weigh 72 kilos. I consider myself to be a fairly powerful striker, but I know if you're a heavyweight, if you're a big guy, you probably hit harder than I do. I'm going to give it a bit of a test. I'm going to show you how hard you can hit it. Obviously, if you hit it up high, because it has a rubber base to it, there is going to be more flex. So the harder you hit it up top, if you're thinking about aiming for those bigger roundhouses, imagining that you're trying to hit someone in the face, it is going to move more than if you strike down low for the body shots. Again, I will kick it and I will show you how it works. But again, just remember that because it is filled with water in this case, the more you kick it, the more it moves, the more water is going to leak out of it. Obviously, the best way to avoid that is using sand. Now at this point, I would also note that this has been leaking for a few months now, so I probably do need to top the water up. But as you can see, with some hard hits, it does move, it does flex. If I hit it, and that wasn't even a very hard hit, if I hit it, it does bounce backwards and forwards, side to side. And again, the same applies with kicks. Okay. Now when you do kick it hard, there are ever so slight imperfections in the bag. So when I kick it, I can feel now that there is a point where I can feel where I've kicked. Now I would assume that's the same with most boxing bags, but I think the quality of this really goes to show with the heavy kicks. After a kick like that, I can feel on the bag where I've kicked it. So obviously if you are dealing with and you are a martial artist that specialises in striking and you're putting this through a lot of kicks, the bag might not last as long, but that's really difficult to say. Overall, for what it is, it handles itself really well. Okay guys, so there we have it. That was my sort of review of this freestanding punch bag. Personally, if you're going to get one, regardless of whether it's this specific bag or an alternative, I think they're awesome. I really like it. I was pleasantly surprised with how much damage I could give this thing, how much I could push this thing, and it sort of still stays standing. Obviously, the quality is reflected in the price, and I have no doubt that if you spend more money, you can get something of better quality. This cost me about £80, as I say, and I got it on Amazon. So if you want this specific bag, look for Gallant on Amazon and you'll find them. The setup was really easy. It fits me really nicely because I've only got a small space to keep it. I use it to improve my punching and my boxing drills and my kicking. Yeah, I think it's really good. I really like it. So would I recommend one? Yes, I would. Personally, when I say freestanding, you can get ones that have larger bases to them. So if you've got extra space, then I probably would recommend getting one because it would alleviate the swinging and the swaying, especially if you're putting it through a bit more pressure than I may well be. But yeah, if you're like me and you just want something to keep your cardio more interesting, if you're a martial artist and you want to practice different strikes, elbows, knees and things like that from the comfort of your own home, or if you just want to practice your boxing, these are great. They fit in nicely in a small room, and yeah, it's better quality than I was expecting, so it's good. So there you have it guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I think these are great little punch bags. I would definitely recommend you getting one if you've got the space, you can afford it, and if you think it's suitable for you at this point in time, I would highly recommend it. I love working out on this thing, it's great. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. Comment down below if you have any specific questions about the punch bag, and I will try my best to be a bit more specific. And if you haven't already, subscribe guys. Come on, what are you doing? Subscribe. And my Instagram is in the description of this video, so if you haven't already, go over and follow me on Instagram. And yeah, enjoy. If you get one, enjoy it, and let me know if you do get one, what you guys think of them too. Have a good day guys, and I will see you guys very soon. See you in the next video. Bye.